Hello everyone, this is David Ivory, your Israel tour guide, and today we are in Ramat HaSharon, which is an Israeli city in the center area in the lowlands, under or west of the Sharon and east of Herzliya. We're just going to walk around and take a look at what we see around here. Today is the week. It's the week of Purim. Purim is a holiday where we read the book of Esther. We celebrate the salvation of the Jewish people in Persia, and we wear fancy costumes. So we might see kids or adults dressed up to celebrate the Purim holiday. This street or path is called Har Gilo. Har Gilo is a town, a location south of Jerusalem on the way to Bethlehem. So this is a walkway. Maybe it was a road at one time. There are some stores and restaurants and some places for rent. Again, we are at Ramat HaSharon. And don't confuse that with Hod HaSharon, which is another place. You can see development, new buildings popping up in the middle of these older buildings in this older Israeli town in the center area. Magdiel is the name of another place in Israel. As we saw in our walk in Jerusalem on Gaza Street or Aza Street, different neighborhoods in Israel might have a theme for the names of the streets. So they might be streets named for people from a certain period or from a certain type of activity, or in this case, names for different towns. Here, this road is called Ramatayim, which means two Ramot, and this is Ramat HaSharon. The road actually curves around here, it seems, because this also says Magdiel in front of us, but also says Ramatayim. That seems a little confusing. I guess there is a split in the road. We will take a look here. See these pomegranate sculptures. Pomegranates are one of the fruits that traditionally are known to be a blessing of the land of Israel. There are 7 types of fruits that are considered the fruits that the land of Israel is blessed by. And the pomegranate, which in Hebrew is called rimon, is one of those fruits. There's the rimon, the fig, the olives. We have the little green man, so we can move forward. Magdiel. I think that Ramatayim sign that was confusing us, the sign must have been broken and twisted in the wrong direction. And that's why it gave the impression that there were 2 different names for that street. Actually, the sign was twisted. And this is a Magen David Adom. It's a motorcycle ambulance, a Medicycle, which is meant to make it easier and quicker for emergency personnel, to medics and paramedics, to be able to reach the site of a person who is in need of emergency and medical attention, because the different agencies that deal with emergency ambulance services have realized that if there's heavy traffic, then it can be a problem to get an ambulance to the location of a person who needs that emergency medical attention. And if we can get people to the site quicker, then a Medicycle might be able to solve that problem. Falafel is a favored Israeli street food. I'm a big fan of falafel. This is a construction area. In Israel, there's a great amount of housing development that is underway in cities all across Israel. And here in Ramat HaSharon, no different. There are major developers who are building here. Here we see Mifal HaPayis, this blue and orange building, is Israel's lottery. It's called Mifal HaPayis. And on the lottery stand, this building is the lottery stand, there's a defibrillator for emergency medical attention. And the Magen David Adom in Israel have made this available for medics, just in case someone is in distress and needs this type of support. We're coming up to a post office. You see the red sign, the red and gray sign, and the Western Union. That is a post office building. Here is public parking, medical clinic. I've spoken about the public parking. You see the blue and white lines on the curb? That indicates that it's municipal public parking that you can pay for with you can choose one of two apps that you can download to your phone and log in with your credit card and your license plate number, and you can use that to pay for public parking. And you always need to check the sign, a yellow sign at the beginning of the street that you're parking on, in order to make sure that you are to make sure what the rules are for that parking area. There might be certain times that you can park, and there might be certain times that the parking area is reserved only for residents. So you always need to read the sign, because it differs from one location to another, from one city to another. And when you pay for your parking through the app in Israeli municipalities, you need to make sure that the app has recognized the location that you're at. This park is a memorial park. It's called Yad Lebanim Ramatayim, the Bnei Ramatayim. The town is called Ramatayim. In short, we call it Ramat HaSharon. And this memorial is for all of the sons of this town, Ramatayim, who fell in wars in the defense of the state of Israel. We see that all of their names are inscribed on the plaques here, and there are different monuments around us in the park, or sculptures in their memory. Here we see the Israeli flag and the flag of Ramatayim, Ramat HaSharon. And we'll walk over there to see this part of the memorial park and see if there's a sign that we can read. These boards, steel plaques, are part of a memorial. And it says here that this is a memorial for the Holocaust, for the people who were murdered by the Nazis in the Holocaust. And in Hebrew it says, Lizkor velo lishkoach, we will never forget. So this is the Ramatayim monument for the Holocaust. We see part of the sculpture is this glass flooring that leads us from the monument for the memorial for the Holocaust to the memorial for the soldiers who fell in defense of the state of Israel. So it's actually two monuments in this park, one for the victims of the Holocaust on this side, and one for the soldiers who fell in the defense of the state of Israel. And in between, behind us, there's a synagogue. We can see the Israeli flag, and on the upper part of the building, we can see the two tablets of the Ten Commandments. Typically, in the Jewish tradition, synagogues are facing Jerusalem. It's very interesting. In Israel, where Jerusalem is in the center, synagogues in the north are facing south towards Jerusalem. Synagogues in the south are facing north towards Jerusalem. And synagogues in the west are facing east. Towards Jerusalem. There are a lot of different stores around us. Some of them are eateries, and some of them are... This one looks like a health food store and flowers. It's called Hameshek. Hameshek is the farm, 1933. And across the street, there's the yellow sign, the yellow letters on the white building is Tzomet Sfarim. Tzomet means an intersection. And Tzomet Sfarim is a bookstore. There are two major book chains, franchises, a franchise chain of bookstores in Israel. One is Tzomet and one is Stimatsky. And they publish a lot of books in Hebrew every year. I don't know how they can really make much money because the population in Israel is not so great. But they say that the Jewish people are the people of the book. And I guess that many people in Israel buy books and read books. I personally buy a lot of books. I buy a lot of books in both Hebrew and English, and typically I have more books than I could read. I have more books than I have time to read. An electric bus. This is a bakery. Notice the change place across the street. That's for exchange of foreign currency. I did a video about foreign currency exchange places in Jerusalem, but as you can see, they're pretty spread out. You can typically find a place if you are visiting Israel and you have foreign currency and you need local Israeli shekels. You can typically in most towns you can find a change place to get your local currency. And the post office also provides that service. There's typically a post office, at least one in every town. see the city map. On the city map, you can see the sticker that says we want the Messiah now. So we walked along this area, Ramatayim, and we can see the streets that we crossed. Marna Jabotinsky, Magdiel, we were here at Magdiel. This is Magdiel right behind us.